Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. All these videos, well, NFL is almost over. All these videos get posted on this subreddit. It's called DF Sports. I make updates here with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, all that good jazz you need. This will be linked down below because these videos do change prior to me making them or after me making them. So check it out. It'll be down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right here. Excuse me, at Tory Lang 192 or Shook Go. All right, so slate's still going on, so I'll tell you guys my lineup. Should be a good night. My lineup tonight was Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Jared Vanderbilt, Christian Wood. God damn it, who was the rest? Um, Quentin Grimes, Joel Embiid, and Jonathan Kuminga. So hopefully Joel Embiid smash. If he does, I'll have a great night tonight. My core today was Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and Jonathan Kuminga. Absolute smash of a core. And if you guys are looking for core plays, private videos, all that good stuff, I'll have my Discord link down below. We had some great nights yesterday. I'll try to scroll up if I can find them. Um, no, it's gonna take too long. Like I just scrolled up all the way, and this is only from today at 10 o'clock, so it's gonna take too long. We had someone win a couple $1,000s. Just ignore that. Don't bother with that. Embiid gave me a heart attack, so it was time to Kermit. Um, we had someone win a couple $1,000s last night. I had a great night last night. Hopefully you guys had a good night tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good night yesterday. And let's get into this 9 game slate, I believe it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game slate for tomorrow. Does January have 31 days or 30? I'm not entirely sure, so find out next time. But let's go over the slate. So yeah, really good matchup here for the Clippers. I think the main Clippers look pretty good here. Now, blowout risk plus trying to figure out which Clipper is going to have the good game is almost impossible. Like some games it's Kawhi, some games it's Paul George, some games it's James Harden. More often than not, it's probably going to be Kawhi, but I think Kawhi will probably be the highest owned of the bunch. I do think he looks the best point per dollar of the bunch, but these three, they're going to dominate usage. You can't get a better spot than going up against Washington. I think they look solid at their price points. Like I said, just risk a blowout and trying to figure out which one's going to have the best game. I think Kawhi is my favorite, but once again, I think he'll probably be the most popular of that group. Norm Powell, 4-6, should play low to mid 20s minutes, a guy with the ceiling. I think we have better value on this slate. Like we have potential OKC value. We do have Dallas value. So in play is a tournament play just because he does have a ceiling, but there definitely is better value. But I think he is a solid value. And then Mason Plumlee, Dice, they'll kind of split the center minutes. I think they're okay. But I do think in this matchup there is a chance. I would not be surprised that they do go small and play Russell Westbrook more. Like if you guess right on a 5.7K Russell Westbrook and they go small and he gets mid 20s minutes to around 30 minutes, he's probably going to nuke at this price, especially in this matchup. Revenge narrative, if you're into that as well. So like I am intrigued here by Russell Westbrook for tournaments, and I do think in this matchup there is a chance that they do go small. So I am intrigued there by Westbrook, but I think the main three do look good. Moving on to Washington. Nothing I like here. I think, if they keep this game close, you're going to see a big game from like Kuz or like Jordan Poole, but at their price points, given the matchup as well, like Clippers are Clippers are going to have these guys in an absolute blender. So not much I like here. Like Kuzma, Poole, probably my two favorites given the price points, but the matchup, like I said, they're going to have these guys in an absolute blender. I think this game probably blows out as well. Tyus Jones been playing incredibly well. His minutes have been secure as well. So like I don't mind him either. But yeah, not going to go out of my way to play any of these guys. Gafford should play decent minutes. He's been playing extremely well of late. Again, easier matchup with Zubac off the court, but yeah, no priorities here for me. If you think the game does blow out, you could look to a guy like Koulibaly at 4.1K, whose minutes have ticked up of late, and he will play in a blowout and probably crush. So I guess I'll say that is a bit intriguing if you're playing a large field 20 max, 150 max contest. You could do something like that. I don't mind that. So gonna wrap it up there for the first game. So I do want to see what the Bulls minutes minutes ended up here with tonight. Patrick Williams going to remain out. Kobe White got into early foul trouble. That's why he only played 35 minutes. Io benefited from that, but he's going to play huge minutes as well. And then Julian Phillips has been in the rotation over Dalen Terry of late, and Dalen Terry's out. So Phillips, I mean, if you need a 3.2K dart, it's fine. But like I said, there we have Dallas value, potentially OKC value. I don't think it's necessary to go there, but yeah, good spot here. I'm pretty high on the main guys. Vooch, Kobe, DeMar, I think all look solid. Vooch probably is the best spot between all three. I think all three of the main bulls look pretty good here. I don't know. I still think they're too cheap. I think Vooch at least should be like above 8K. Same with DeMar. They're playing huge minutes as well. Pace up spot up in Charlotte as well. I believe LaMelo is going to be out for this game too. So I think all three of the Bulls look good. I think the guards look pretty good here too. Like I would assume 4.6K. No Patrick Williams. He's playing huge minutes right now. Not a bad point per minute guy. So like I like Io's contrarian value. I don't think he'll pick up much ownership. Drummond's overpriced. I would say Alex Caruso is probably priced right. I think I prefer Io for cheaper. I'm not going to play, like I said, I mentioned Phillips, but I'm not going to play him. I don't think I'll play him. If you need like a mid-price guy, it's fine for large field. Yeah, LaMelo going to be doubtful here. We have Miles Bridges probable. So without LaMelo, they started Brandon Miller at the point last game, played 40 minutes too. We'll see what they do. So if they start Miller at the point and go with PJ Washington in the starting lineup, I mean, yeah, I like PJ at 5.8K. Good point per minute guy, solid rebounder, 35, 36 minutes the last two games. He's had this game is definitely a floor outcome for the minutes and production he usually gives. Now his rates at the 4 compared to the 5 are a lot worse, but still be a solid play. I would prefer him to Nick Richards too as well. But Nick Richards played 37 minutes as well. They're just thin, right? No LaMelo, no Hayward, no Mark. Obviously Lowry isn't playing, so they're pretty thin. They're running a really tight rotation. So if they go with that same starting lineup, I think you definitely have to have interest in, PJ Washington, Nick Richards, and Brandon Miller for tournaments. I think they would be good low-owned option. I don't think anyone's going to play any of these guys, to be honest. What else? Cody Martin, I think is solid for value at 4.4K. We'll talk about that Dallas value and that OKC value coming up later. But yeah, if you need a value play, I think that's solid. And then if Ish Smith comes off the bench, I'm not going to play him. If they start Ish, then I think Ish definitely stands out as a pretty good value. Played 30 minutes last time he was in the starting lineup. Stat sheet stuffer. He's been shooting the ball horrible. I'm not going to play Nick Smith though. But yeah, Charlotte does look pretty good here without LaMelo, and I like Miles Bridges quite a bit. He's their go-to guy. He's playing 42 minutes a game right now, stuffing the stat sheet. He can do everything for this team. He's going to have to do everything for this team. So yeah, I think Miles stands out. This whole Charlotte team looks pretty good, and the good thing about this is I don't think any of these guys are going to be popular tomorrow. I really don't. So I'm pretty high on this team for tournaments, especially with the rotation that they ran last game. Tough matchup here for the Pistons. Not much here. I think Cade is okay for tournaments at 8.3K. Does seem a little bit too cheap. During tough spot, we also have Evan Mobley back, but he had a massive game last game. He does have this type of ceiling. Given the matchup, though, more of a contrarian play to me. Ivy, I mean, priced right with Cade back. Bojan's priced right with Cade back. I'm not going to mess with the guards. Not going to play like an Ozer or any of those guys. So Detroit, probably my least favorite team to target on this slate. Now, possibly going to have Darius Garland back tomorrow, but if he's out, which it looks like he's going to be plans to return. So if he's out, I absolutely love Donovan Mitchell in a really good spot going up against Detroit. Would be one of my favorite spend-ups on the slate if Darius Garland does not play. If he plays, I would expect him to be on. Actually, it's just his jaw. Maybe he's been keeping his conditioning up, so maybe he does play full minutes. So keep an eye on that. If we get like 7.5K Darius Garland playing his full minutes in a good spot going up against Detroit, that could be a good option. But I think Donovan Mitchell of Garland, for some reason on some type of limit, or he doesn't play, looks phenomenal. And then if Garland's not on the limit, then yeah, Garland would be a solid option. He just hasn't played in a while. Mobley was on the limit last game, but Jared Allen at 7.7. Kept up his production, kept up his minutes. They're still running a bit of offense through him as well. I have no issue there. He should be able to feast going up against Detroit. And then with Garland coming back, kind of kills like LeVert. Strus should be priced right. I'm not going to play guys like Sam Merrill, George Niang, Isaac Okoro, those type guys. All right, moving on to Sacramento. Not a good spot here, but Sabonis has just been on another level of late. If you want to play him, I'm not going to say no. Getting close to a triple double pretty much every single night. Looking at the spend ups here, you don't have a ton of great options. Like you have Luka out, You have Jokic questionable. If Jokic plays, he's probably going to be my favorite spin up. But other than that, you have SGA, I believe, down, okay, questionable with non-COVID illness. Like, it's tough. There's not too many options here. So yeah, I don't mind Sabonis at all. Like I said, I think Donovan Mitchell looks pretty good. I still like him even if Garland plays. You have Wemby. It's tough, and we have a lot of value on this slate. So yeah, Sabonis definitely looks solid. Fox is playable at 8-7, but I think I prefer getting up to Sabonis. Malik Monk minutes have not been great of late, but he does have a ceiling. The guy that they've been going with and has been playing big minutes that I like once again here is going to be Kevin Huerter. Good point per minute guy. It seems like they want to play him all the minutes he can handle. Has an insane ceiling as well. So I think Herter stands out to me at 5.2K. Harrison Barnes, no. I'd rather play Kevin Herter. Keegan just there for me at 6K. Not going to get to like Trey Lyles or anyone, but he is playable. Should see like high teens minutes. If you need another like mid price guy, it's fine. Talk about some potential value on these Spurs as well. Moving on to Miami, this team's just weird with Rozier. I don't like anything. I guess Tyler Hero at 6'5" does seem a bit too cheap. Like Butler at 7'2" does seem a little bit too cheap. I like the matchup as well. So those would be the two guys at target. Yeah, I think Jimmy at 7'2" is a bit intriguing. Hero at 6'5", like price points do seem a bit too cheap there. Bam at 8K, I think it's also just there for me. And don't know if I get to like a Rozier. Not playing enough minutes right now. Jack is at 5.5K. Minutes around have been on a downtrend as well. I believe they started Highsmith last game. Let me just double check, but I feel like they did. Where's Miami? As you can see, I always have the rotations up. Just unbelievable what they're doing there. But yeah, Miami, main interest, Butler, Hero. All right, moving on to Orlando. Really good spot here. I think Paolo looks like one of the better spin ups as well on the slate. Another guy that's playing huge minutes and has to do everything for this team. Other than that, you have Franz, Wendell Jr. I like as well. He kind of got trolled here. They went with Mo Wagner over him, but I think normally he's going to play around 30 minutes. 6'1" makes him a solid option. Good point per minute guy. Solid rebounder as well. I do like Markel Fultz though. Like his role of late has been pretty solid. His minutes been up and down, but I would say we probably get 25 to 30 minutes from him. Another good point per minute guy that I think is a bit too cheap. Suggs would be your pivot. Cole Anthony minutes trending down of late as well. I think my favorite of the guards is Markel Fultz, and then I like Paolo quite a bit. I think Franz is solid too, at 7K. So Orlando definitely a pretty good team at their price points. Good matchup as well. Pace up spot. So yeah. Moving on to the Spurs, like Wemby with his minutes right now, getting 30 minutes a game, he's still too cheap. He should be like, I don't know, probably like 9.6, maybe 10K-ish, playing 30 minutes a game. So yeah, I'm still pretty high on Wemby here. Has a nice eligibility as well. Double upside every single slate. Good shot blocker. Probably gets you like 3 to 4 blocks a game. Just absolutely insane. So I'm still high on Wemby, even at 9.2K. Devin Vassell just there for me. We'll keep an eye on Keldon. If he's out, you're going to get more minutes for like a Chetty Osman, who I'd actually like at 3.2K. Maybe like Julian Champagny gets more run. Might see a bit more like a Doug McDermott at 3K. Just absolutely disgusting. But I think the main bumps, you could see a bit more Champagny and Chetty Osman if he is out. The rest, I don't love anything going up against Orlando. Like Trey Jones priced right, Sochan's priced right. Don't think I get to much else. If Keldon's in, I'm not even going to mess with the value. Keldon himself at 5'8" should see around 30 minutes, would be a bit too cheap. Moving on to Denver. So Jokic is questionable. Obviously, this news is very, very important. If he plays, he's probably your best spin up on the slate. I keep saying it, but there was a stretch where he just like was not shooting the ball like at all. But like of late, he's been shooting the ball a lot more. You've seen a lot better fantasy games. So I am not scared of OKC. He should be able to feast whoever they put up on him in the front court. So I think Jokic looks phenomenal here. I think Jamal Murray is too cheap as well. Don't know why the price point came down on him. He should be like an 8.5K player as well, playing huge minutes stuff in his stat sheet. His rates have been up as well too. So I think Jamal looks really solid as well. MPJ Aaron Gordon, like this price point Aaron Gordon does seem a bit too cheap as well. Seems like a safe play to me. Still not a priority, but find it's like a last piece in. Same with like Michael Porter Jr. MPJ definitely seems the cheapest of the bunch that looks a bit too cheap. So Gordon, MPJ, solid options, but more last piece in filler type plays for me. KCP 3-and-D, now that the price point's down, it's playable, but I think, like I said, we have better value with like that Dallas stuff. Now, if Jokic is out, that changes everything. We'll see. I would expect like Dusty Dodge to start at the 5. If that's the case, he really looks like a good value. You'll probably see a bit more run for like Peyton Watson. He'd be intriguing for tournaments. And then I'd love Jamal. Would really like MPJ. Would really like Aaron Gordon. KCP doesn't really change much for me. And like I said, if they start Dodge, he would look like a really good value. Peyton Watson might get more run. I don't know if I go to much else though. Reggie Jackson will play around 20 minutes. Fine dart, but full better value. And this is just impossible to talk about. So we have Jalen Williams out. Just impossible to talk about. Really, really impossible to talk about. This is probably gonna be a wait and see approach for me, and I will make updates on Reddit. It's just impossible to say right now. But if everyone's out, then we're firing up Josh Giddey at 5.9K. He would be one of the best mid-range options on the slate with the team to himself. Casey Wallace would like a 3.9K. Guys like Kendrick, Aaron Wiggins, they'd have to get more run. We'll see what they do with the starting lineup. Like Jalen Williams. I wish they would just play Poku, man. Is he in the G League? I miss playing Poku. I really, really do. But it's tough to say right now. We'll have to see how many bodies they have available. I'm sure we'll get this news probably somewhere around the day tomorrow. But what I can say is I'd like Giddey. I would love Giddey. Casey Wallace, solid. And, guys like Kenrich, we've been looking to these guys. So impossible to say right now. If SGA is in, if everyone's in, then I like SGA a lot. He'd be too cheap at 9.9K. If Dort, Jalen at 4.1K is fine. We'll see who starts. But yeah, pretty hard to say right now. And Dallas. Tough matchup here going up against Minnesota. Ton of blowout risk here, but it's hard to ignore this team. So, everyone's doubtful. Dante Exum doubtful. Derek Jones Jr. doubtful. So I would assume the starting lineup would be something like Jaden Hardy, Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, Grant Williams, and like a one of Dwight Powell or Maxi Kleber would be my guess. Even though Dwight Powell's been out of the rotation. So we'll see there, but what I can say right now is Josh Green looks really good. Tim Hardaway Jr. looks really, really good. Jaden Hardy, I absolutely love. Grant Williams, very solid value. Whoever starts at the 5, I like. Rashawn Holmes has been in the rotation, I want to say, of late. It's like, keep an eye on what they do with the starting lineup. Whoever starts at the 5, I'd like. So there's a lot to like. You'll probably see a bit of possibly AJ Lawson. Like we're definitely gonna have some value here. These guys look really, really good for value. Moving on to Minnesota. So if you think this game could stay competitive, Rudy Gobert is just going to absolutely feast. So Rudy Gobert at 6.9K playing 40 minutes game up against this front court could absolutely nuke. So I'm really high on Rudy Gobert for tournaments if you think this game stays competitive. Cat solid. I really like Ant if you think this game also stays competitive. He's just too cheap. Stat sheet stuffer, also can get you defensive stats. Like he's going to play 40 minutes competitive game. I'm high on him. If Mike Conley's out, you can consider guys like NAW. But like I said, we have that Dallas value, possibly have OKC value. McDaniel's at 4K, and other guys just like fine, but I rank the other value ahead of them. So, and did I say if Conley's out, you consider? Yeah, I think so. You can consider NAW. Nas Reed, another guy that, if you think Gobert Cat gets into foul trouble, he could crush. Just intriguing. And, let's move on to the last set of games here, guys. Pelicans, nothing really. Tough matchup going up against Houston. So I think, Ingram, Zion, CJ, more contrarian plays for me. Jonas not playing enough right now. Keep an eye on Herb Jones. If he's out, they could start, a Trey Murphy at 4.6K. Then I'd like a Trey Murphy. Might be a bit more run for a guy like Jordan Hawkins, possibly. Just keep an eye on that. Could have some more value there with a Trey Murphy, etc. Moving on to Houston. So Sengun's just been on another level of late. I really like him. I don't know why the price point came down. I think he's another really, really good play in the mid-range. Pell's pretty tough, but don't care. He's just too cheap. Fred VanVleet's pretty solid. He's been down of late, but normally a stat sheet stuffer. He just needs to make some shots. He hasn't been shooting the ball well of late, so like Fred is a bounce back candidate. Jabari is too cheap as well with no Tari Eason. He's going to play all the minutes he can handle. Like him as a contrarian play. Brooks is fine. I don't know if I get too much else there. All right, last game here. Good matchups like Booker. Good tournament play. I have a feeling he might be a bit overowned from his recent performances, but I'm not going to say no if you want to keep playing him. He's just been on another level of late. It's actually been phenomenal. I don't know if you guys have been watching these games, but I've been watching them. They've been phenomenal. It's been absolutely amazing to see. Kevin Durant's fine, but I think I prefer Booker. Beal at 6'6", just there for me. And then Nurk minutes been on a downtrend. If Grayson's out, Eric Gordon will get a bump. It's just like, meh. Moving on to Brooklyn. Ben Simmons probably could have Day'Ron Sharp coming back. Keep an eye on that. But if Sharp's out, Claxton at 7-1 is going to play close to 40 minutes. Be a good tournament play at 7-1. Mikel's finally turning a corner of late. I like his ceiling for tournaments at 7-3. And then Ben Simmons on a minutes limit, but look what he did in 18 minutes. Almost had a triple double. Just absolutely wild. But he's overpriced if he's going to still be on a limit. Dinwiddie at 5K, another guy that's just like, if he gets 30 minutes, he's too cheap, which past 3 games he's been on pace for. So I think Dinwiddie kind of in that same class of like Marco Fultz, a guy that I like at 5K that is too cheap. So I do like Dinwiddie. Cam Johnson, kind of the same thing. It's just like, with Dorian Finney-Smith out, I think he's going to have to play a bit more. So he's a bit too cheap as well. So like Cam, like Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal with no Dorian Finney-Smith also gets a little bit of a bump. Don't know if I get there. All right, that's going to wrap it up for the slate. Hope you guys had a great night tonight, and I will talk to y'all in the next one.